Yo, what's up guys, it's NLW Figs here, back again with another video. Today, I'm going to be telling you my top 8 Royal Rumbles of all time, my favourites. Now, they're going to differ from some people might not agree with this list, but that's fine, it's just my personal opinion. They're not necessarily the best Rumbles, but they're the ones I've had the most enjoyment watching. In fact, I've been going through a lot of Royal Rumbles recently, watching a lot back on the WWE network, a lot of the free ones that they've got out there at the moment, so the Royal Rumble is probably one of my favourite pay-per-views of the year, if not the very favourite, because of just the unpredictability factor. There are a couple of rough ones in the middle of the 2010s, but we won't speak about those. More recently though, the Royal Rumble has been very, very good, and also in the past it has as well. So without further ado, let's get into this. And by the way, this isn't like a ranking per se, they're in time order, but it's just my 8 favourite Rumbles, so no particular order with this one. And we'll start off with the 1992 Royal Rumble. Now, I rewatched this for the first time in a very long time earlier this week, and this one is like a snapshot of the golden era of wrestling. So in this match, probably the most star-studded Rumble ever. There were barely any duds. You had Jake the Snake Roberts, Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, so many names, Sergeant Slaughter, and Ric Flair, of course, Sid. Just a very stacked Rumble in terms of star power, and the story of also the Bulldog started this one. He was in there for quite a while too. But you had Ric Flair coming in at number 3, the iconic shot of him coming through the entranceway and coming down to ringside. Heenan on commentary as well makes this match a very good one, so do go and check it out if you haven't already. I know that maybe some newer fans might not have seen a lot of the Golden Era stuff, but this one really encapsulates what it was like at the time. And also at the end, very dramatic stuff. Hulk Hogan being Hulk Hogan as he is, being a sore loser, eliminating Sid and helping Ric Flair actually win the WWF Championship at the time. And then the tear in my eye promo caps it all off. A great event and a great match. Go and check it out if you haven't, because it's definitely one that gets talked about a lot, but you have to see it to believe it, and Heenan on commentary just makes it fantastic. Next up, we've got the 2001 Royal Rumble, and this is on the tail end of the Attitude Era. So in this match, you had the likes of The Rock, The Undertaker, Kane, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Big Show returning as well, and this entire event was fantastic. You know, you had the Jericho-Benoit ladder match, Angle versus Triple H, the Dudleys versus Edge and Christian. Really, again, like a snapshot of the Attitude Era in this matchup. You had the comedy with Drew Carey, you had Kane dominating everyone, including the Honky Tonk Man. Then there was the hardcore portion of the Rumble, and after that, things got really picked up when The Rock came down to ringside and started laying the smackdown. And then the final 4 come down to The Rock, Billy Gunn for some reason, Kane and Steve Austin. It comes down to Kane and Austin eliminating Kane with a series of chair shots. Just a great Royal Rumble. It's paced really well, and you can see the different sections. You know, you've got the beginning, the middle portion, the hardcore portion, then when things pick up with The Rock. It's just one of the perfectly paced Rumbles in Royal Rumble history. So if you're booking a pick-fed Royal Rumble, go and watch this match, because it's a great template, I would say, onto how to book a Royal Rumble. Next, we've got the 2002 Royal Rumble. Now, maybe some people wouldn't put this on their list, but me personally, I remember loving this as a kid, because it was the longest Royal Rumble at the time until 2011 when you had the 40-man one. So clocking in at like an hour, 10 minutes, a really long Rumble, but one that was very dramatic indeed. In this one, you had a lot of returns. So you had the returns of the likes of Val Venus, The Godfather, Goldust, and Mr. Perfect. And it's a shame what happened with Mr. Perfect after this Royal Rumble, but right on this night, he looked like a star, and it was great. You also had the likes of Rob Van Dam, The Undertaker, The Hardys, Steve Austin, as well as the winner, Triple H, and Kurt Angle in what I believe was his first Royal Rumble match. So a lot of star power in this one too. There was also the same thing about pacing in this matchup. It was really good. You had Maven coming in, shockingly eliminating The Undertaker, and then getting battered for his efforts. You had the middle portion with Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin doing an epic stare down, and then the star power just keeps going, and it's really like an early template, I would say, of the Ruthless Aggression era with the likes of RVD, The Big Show, Booker T, those guys. So comes down to Triple H and Kurt Angle, and of course Triple H wins the match and goes to WrestleMania in his big comeback return. It's a shame again how that turned out at WrestleMania, but we won't forget about that on this night. Triple H was the man. Next, we've got the 2006 Royal Rumble, which was won by Rey Mysterio. Now again, this is one that's not going to be on not a lot of people's lists, but it's got some personal sentimental value to me. This is because this was the first Royal Rumble that I bought on DVD. In fact, it was the first wrestling DVD that I bought, and I maybe even like one of the first pay-per-views I watched because I had it on DVD. So you had Rey Mysterio in there, Triple H again. This is my era of wrestling, folks. This is when I got into wrestling, so this is probably why I have such fond memories of it. And also, even like the lower card guys I have a weird fondness for, like Carlito, Chris Masters, the Mexicals as well. So, and Eminem, of course, who can forget them, Shelton Benjamin, those guys. And again, a couple of weird, interesting entrants like Tatanka and Animal and Goldust as well, making their return. So you had a good mix of, again, like a really star-studded Rumble. You had Lashley, Show, Flair, Kane as well, just back to back to back. Really good stuff. And the Final Four as well, probably one of the best Final Fours. So you got RVD, Triple H, Rey Mysterio, and Randy Orton. Eventually, Triple H is eliminated, but he batters Rey Mysterio for his efforts. Comes down to Orton and Rey. You think Orton's going to win it, but Rey Mysterio shockingly eliminates Randy Orton and wins and goes to WrestleMania. And a real good, feel-good story. Maybe they exploited Eddie Guerrero's death a little bit too much, obviously, in this match, but it was still good to see Rey Mysterio getting this big opportunity like this. Once again, it's a shame how things turned out. I'm saying that a lot in this video, but I suppose it is WWE in the mid-2000s after all. But he won, went to WrestleMania, and I remember as a kid just being so happy that Rey got that opportunity, and that was one of my favourites, was Rey Mysterio. So this Rumble, sentimental value to me. And another Rumble with sentimental value to me is the 2007 Royal Rumble. This would have been the first Royal Rumble that happened when I was a wrestling fan. So it happened, I believe, around the time I started watching, so like a couple months after I started watching like late 2006, and this was the first Road to WrestleMania I'd experienced, and man, as an 8-year-old kid, I was so pumped for this match. You had Edge, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, Ric Flair, Undertaker, of course, Shawn Michaels, and just a whole host of interesting names in this one, and also the first one to feature ECW talent. So you had Tommy Dreamer, Sabu, RVD, and the Sandman as well, and also like the new breed like Kevin Thorne and CM Punk in this one. So there were a couple of interesting spots in this one. There wasn't really anything like to stand out particularly. It just kind of was paced really well, but the ending is what makes this one of the best Rumbles ever. Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker having their own mini match in this Royal Rumble, a sign of things to come for their WrestleMania encounters years later. But yeah, like as soon as that comes down to the final two, they just have a 10-minute classic in the ring. The fans are pumped for it. Two Texas boys in a Texas stadium. And finally, Undertaker throws out Shawn Michaels and wins the whole thing. And it really could have gone either way because both men did go on to challenge for their world titles at WrestleMania. But again, Undertaker winning a Royal Rumble, long overdue for him, and a great way to end that 2007 Rumble. Next on my list, we have the 2010 Royal Rumble. This one taking place in a time where WWE may have been struggling a little bit in terms of creativity, but this Rumble really blew it out of the park in terms of surprises and just general star power as well. Again, probably like a swan song to the Ruthless Aggression era in a way, even though it was quite deep into the PG era. You had the likes of Batista in one of his final Rumbles before he left, and also Shawn Michaels, Triple H, John Cena, Chris Jericho, and of course the winner returning from a near career-ending injury, the Rated R Superstar Edge, returning at number 29 to eliminate Chris Jericho to win the Royal Rumble and go on to WrestleMania. And I remember just being so pumped to see Edge back. It was really shocking at the time because I wasn't expecting him back for at least another 6 months, you know, because that injury was pretty bad with the Achilles, but he came back early, and my god, what a reaction for Edge coming out at number 29 to eliminate everyone else. And again, you also had the little stories of CM Punk coming in and throwing everyone out who came in his way. You had the story of Shawn Michaels trying to get to Undertaker at WrestleMania by winning the match in the desperation, and you also had Batista wanting to prove that he's the dominant animal, and John Cena as well trying to rebound from losing the WWE Championship. Just so many little story threads, and that's what makes a Royal Rumble special to me. But what also makes a Rumble special to me is you can see the building blocks to the future, and that's why I've included 2018 on this list, the Men's Royal Rumble. So again, a snapshot of what things to come for the company. You had Andrade and Adam Cole of NXT. You also had the likes of Finn Balor going the distance from number 2. And again, a lot of cool characters from the time, like Rusev, Elias, and all those guys. And I have quite a soft spot for 2018 personally. It's one of my favourite years in wrestling, aside from Raw and SmackDown. So this Rumble really encapsulated a lot of good memories for me. And also I remember being very watching intently, I should say, because I was scheduled to go to WrestleMania 34 and watch that live, so I really wanted to see who would win the Rumble and go on to win at WrestleMania, or challenge for the championship at WrestleMania, I should say. So, comes down to new versus old. You had Orton, Mysterio, and Cena on the old school side, and on the new school side, you had Finn Balor, Roman Reigns, and Shinsuke Nakamura, and what a final 6 to have in a Royal Rumble. And I forgot to mention Rey Mysterio's return in this one too. So, it comes down to Roman and Shinsuke. The fans hate Roman at this time, with fair enough reason, I guess, and Shinsuke eliminates him. He also eliminates Cena, and what a strong performance from Shinsuke Nakamura. He goes on to WrestleMania, and then after the match says he's going to challenge AJ Styles, and oh my god, I was so pumped to see that match live in person. Again, bit of a shame how it turned out, but it was still a decent match, I guess. I'm glad I got to see it anyway. But Shinsuke, yeah, man, they've really dropped the ball on that guy, and it's a real shame. But on this night, Shinsuke was the man, and that's why this Rumble's on my list. And the final Rumble on my list is 2020's Royal Rumble. Now, this one, completely different to a lot of previous Royal Rumbles. The first half of the Royal Rumble was the Brock Lesnar show, and honestly, I was here for it. It's a shame how some of the wrestlers were treated, like Cesaro, like John Morrison, getting thrown out in quick fashion, but they did have their little moments to shine before they got thrown out, so I do appreciate that a little bit, I guess. You also had Kofi, Big E, and Rey Mysterio trying to gang up on Brock Lesnar. Again, stories continuing on from the previous year here in this Rumble, and they got eliminated in short order. You had Keith Lee coming out. Again, a real shame what's happened to him recently being released, and that's, again, an indictment of WWE, I guess. But at this time, a beast, unstoppable, Lesnar going, big boy, and he's coming out. And also, this Rumble featured the return of MVP. I'm sorry if I'm rambling. I'm just really excited to talk about these Royal Rumbles because this one particularly, it flew by for me personally. And Lesnar was in control until he met Drew McIntyre. Ricochet with a low blow, and one of the greatest eliminations in Royal Rumble history. The Claymore to Lesnar, who flies over the top rope. Lesnar is gone from the Rumble, and McIntyre would go on to win the whole thing. But that's not all about this Royal Rumble. Who can forget the epic return of the Rated R Superstar Edge, coming back to wrestling for the first time in 9 years. Tears in his eyes, just a great feel-good story. And again, you also had the likes of Samoa Joe in this Royal Rumble, Kevin Owens, Aleister Black, a lot of guys who should have been pegged for the future, but they're going to be the future for other companies now, I guess. There was a brief Rated RKO reunion until Edge eliminated Randy Orton. Comes down to Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre, and McIntyre throws out Roman Reigns to go to WrestleMania and challenge Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. Yeah, the first portion of the match, the Brock Lesnar show, but it did show his dominance, and when McIntyre was the one to finally Claymore him out, a star was made on this night, and of course the return of Edge makes this one of the all-time great Royal Rumbles, especially considering the pandemic hit only a couple weeks later. So those are my top 8 favourite Royal Rumbles. What are your favourite Royal Rumbles though? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to NLW Figs for more wrestling figure content. That's it from me, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.